Hey, what's up, guys? It's Andrew Santalski back with another UFC Fight Night prediction video. This time, UFC Fight Night, Ribas versus Namajunas. Goes down Saturday, March 23rd, 2024, from the Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. We got two female flyweights headlining this card. Amanda Ribas against Rose Namajunas. Two previous strawweight fighters, but they're at a new weight class now. They have been for a fight or two. But let's get into it, guys. First up, Igor Severino against Andre Lima. Two newcomers, I think both from the Contender Series. Igor Severino, 8-0. Fought on the Dana White Contender Series. A lot of knockouts on his record. Going up against Andre Lima. Again, from the Dana White Contender Series. I'm going to side with Severino here, man. He's the underdog, currently a plus 130 on BetOnline. Igor da Silva, I'm going to side with Igor Severino at plus 130 to beat Andre Lima. Miles John against Cody Gibson. I'm going to side with Cody Gibson, man. I never thought this guy would get back in the UFC, but he did. Lost to Brad Katona on in their first fight back into the UFC. That he lost. That was just a high contest striking fight, man. Or high striking volume fight. I'm gonna side with him to beat Miles Johns, man. Miles Johns been up and down in his UFC career. Not really too impressed with the guy. I mean, he has had a couple nice knockouts, I believe, but coming off of Vince Morales, that just seems like forever. Well, no contest with Dan Argueta. I don't know. I'm gonna side with Cody Gibson here to pick up the win. Stephanie Luciano against Julia Polastri. And I'm going to side with Julia here, man. She's got, I think they're similar fighters, but she's got a little more experience. They're both from the Contender Series. Luciano fought to a draw. I'm going to side with Polastri here just because of her experience. She's a minus 150. Also, guys, the fights between Johns and Gibson is like a pick'em fight. I'm going to side with Gibson, like I told you. But I am going to side with the minus 150 favorite here in Polastri. Muhammad Usman against Mick Parkin. Usman is grinding by, guys. I kind of thought the UFC was kind of trying to feed him to some hungry dudes. He beat Collier. Collier's cut. But, I mean, he does have two good wins, man. And I'm going to tell you the two good wins on his record is Junior Tough and Zach Pauga. Two guys that do have some UFC potential, man. Much respect to Junior for taking that fight a couple weeks ago against Rogerio de Lima. And Zach Pauga, I always thought the guy, man, he's decent, man. This guy can scrape out wins, but he's on a two-fight losing streak here. He lost to Bogdan, but he was landing some fights on Bogdan, but I don't know. But he's going up against Mick Parkin here, man, and it's hard not to be impressed with Mick Parkin. This guy's looked good. He's beat Kyle Machado, beat Jamal Pogues, who I think is all right, man. And I'm going to side with Mick Parkin here, man. I just think he's just a level above Usman. Montserrat Rendon against Daria Zalkanova. I don't know. Let's just say Daria. I'm going to side with Rendon here. She's coming off a win over Vidal. 34-year-old bantamweight, so a little bit older in the division. But this Daria, man, I just feel like she's probably a little too unproven, man. Always exciting to see new talent. She's 28. But, I mean, coming in off a win over Marie Loazo in Aries, I mean, I don't know how much stock to put in it, man. I think Rendon might be the right side here. So I'm going to pick Rendon. Steven Nguyen over Jarno Aarons. I'm going to side with Steven here. I think this is an exciting fighter on the Dana White Contender Series. Beat AJ Cunningham, who we just seen fight Ludovic Klein. Went over Ryang. And Jarno Aarons, he's come up short in all his fights, man. I mean, the dog odds are on Aaron's side. But, I mean, he's lost to William Gomis, lost to Sung Choi, who you shouldn't lose to. I'm going to side with Steven Nguyen here. Ricardo Ramos against Julian Erosa. Two guys that are performing poorly right now at featherweight. Ramos, can't even tell you when he last got a win. Lost to Jourdain by guillotine, and Ramos is supposed to be a BJJ guy, too. Beat Danny Chavez, who's no longer with the UFC. Lost to Hugoff. Very bad losses, man. People you shouldn't lose to. Julian Erosa, two-fight losing streak, man. Coming off decision or knockout loss to Caceres and Fernando Padilla. We might start be seeing the decline here, man. This guy's taking a lot of damage. I'm going to side with Julian Erosa, though, to pick up the win. Trey Ogden against Kurt Holobaugh. I'm going to side with Kurt Holobaugh here, man. This guy's kind of impressed me. When he picked up the win over Austin Hubbard. This guy's tough, man. He wants to be back in the UFC. And Trey Ogden on a one-fight losing streak. Lost to Ignacio Bahamondes and looked bad. No contest to remotes. I don't know what happened there. But I'm going to side with Holobaugh. Shahbazyan against Dobson. I think this is a very well-matched fight. I think they're trying to get Shahbazyan a win, and I am going to side with Shahbazyan here to eke out a decision win, but will not surprise me if Dobson pulls it off. But I'm going to side with Edmund, younger guy. Carl Williams against Justin Tafa. I do like Carl Williams at heavyweight here, man. This guy's got very good takedowns, a relentless chain wrestler. 34 years old, so a little bit older, but you can be older at heavyweight. Beat Chase Sherman, beat Lucas Perez. I mean, I'm just impressed, man, because he's hasn't taken a lot of damage and his cardio is held up. And Justin Tafa got some heavy strikes, man, but I'm just not really sold on this guy, man. I'm going to side with Carl Williams here. Luis Pujello against Fernando Padilla. I'm going to side with Padilla here. He's just got a bigger reach. Billy Q against Yusuf Zalal. Zalal's back in the UFC. He came into the UFC real hot many years ago, but, you know, faded out. He just accepted so many fights and didn't look like he was training, really. I looked at all his recent wins. None of them are impressive. Billy Q, this guy's gonna put it to Zalal, man. But Zalal's a tough dude to get out of there. So I'm gonna side with Billy Q to pick up the decision win here. Peyton Talbott against Cameron Simon. Simon might not be as good as we thought he was, man. This is a good prospect fight. Glad it's getting co-main event treatment. I'm gonna side with Peyton here, but it's not gonna surprise me if Cameron Simon can pull it off. But I'm gonna side with Peyton here. Amanda Ribas against Rose Namajunas. Again, I think Rose should be at strawweight. Ribas, this might be her weight class. I'm going to side with Ribas here as an underdog to pick up the win. So, guys, my picks are Ribas, Talbott, Quarantillo, Padilla, Williams, Shahbazyan, Holobaugh, Erosa, Nguyen, Rendon, Parkin, Polastri, Gibson, and Severino.